Kambu Jesu nagenhliziyo ijabule icula emthwaleni nzima elethu sizikwenza indlela ekhathazayo Kambu Jesu nagendlela ngenovalo ngenqina kumnyame miniseko kwamgele kambuso ndele duze kwam uyanaka Kambu Jesu nakanqa ngithi sala sihlo bongifa ngetabukile uthindu Jesu kambuya nginagam yini
Ngaliphela Hello friends, welcome to our program, The Journey of Life. Toda kukuchingamidzai mose nemufaro mukuru, mufaro unopfachukira mukati mezuva ranhasi. We have such an important program. Today we are talking about, the experience of divorce. Oh yes, you heard me right. That D word, that is almost like taboo. No one wants to talk about it. But today we are going to delve right into it. So the journey of life, on any journey, there are many sights, there are many experiences, many situations. Some are, unforgettable. Some you would rather forget. But that's what life is made of. And so today, we're talking about one of those difficult situations and experiences, talking about the experience of divorce. Many times we talk about, people maybe that have gone through divorce. Maybe we talk sometimes to them, but rarely do we have time to have them talk to the rest of us. Mm-hmm. And many times it's just statistics, maybe in a book, in a paper, and so on, in the news. But we want to talk about the real experience, walking through and trudging through the experience of divorce. And this is what we're going to be talking about here today. We welcome your comments, your insights, your questions. They're always welcome. And to help us in our conversation today is Miss Winnie Muchanyuka. Mm-hmm. And I want to welcome you so much. We have quite a personal subject, let me say, to talk about. And you were willing and even glad to come and share with us. Please welcome to the program.
No, thank you very much, Pastor. Thank you so much, and quite happy to share my story.
Thank you so much. Mm-hmm. I can't wait to hear and to learn mm-hmm. From your experience. Mm-hmm. So please, may you tell us who you are as mm-hmm. a person. Are you a professional? Are you an academic? What do you do?
I work for South African Airways, so mm-hmm. I'm an aviation and tourism expert. Mm-hmm. I look after the business interests of SAA in Zimbabwe, Zambia, Malawi, and Namibia. Mm. That is the area that I cover. Okay. And I've worked around airlines all my life. From the day I left school, I've always been working around airlines in a job that I really, really enjoy. Okay. I love the traveling. I love seeing places and interacting with different people. So that's what I do professionally. You asked about academic. I'm studying towards my PhD.
Oh, is it so? In what area?
In the area of tourism development.
Wow.
Yes.
This is serious.
Yes. So
maybe Zimbabwe should consider you for Minister of Tourism. Huh?
Hey, I don't know whether I'm cut out for that, but
do you have many PhDs in that ministry or what? I don't know.
Yeah, no, we don't know. Yeah, no, but there are a couple that are there.
Oh, is it so?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Mm-hmm. And you add and, make it strong there.
Yes.
That's good. Yes. Mm-hmm. I've also been fascinated by aeroplanes, mm-hmm. from when I was so young. Mm-hmm. I remember Tichifudza Mombe and so on. And as the planes would fly off our heads and would run under them, whether it means, I don't know, whatever. But, like chasing
the aircraft.
And singing and chanting some songs. We used to believe that all the aeroplanes belonged to the former President Robert Mugabe. And so would always sing Dege Mugabe as we're running under them and so on.
Yeah.
Oh, great. So tell us, the subject that we have today, mm-hmm. It is the subject of divorce, mm-hmm. quite personal and mm-hmm. sensitive at mm-hmm. times. Mm-hmm. How do you relate to this subject? Is it something that you watched a movie series on or you read a book or you heard about and so on? How do you relate to this subject?
I am a divorcee myself. Mm-hmm. I was married for 15 years.
Wow.
Before I was divorced, and I've been divorced for 14 years now. This is my 14th year of divorce.
Wow.
So it's a very personal thing. It's something that I've gone through, something that I've walked through.
Okay.
And something that I have a lot of experience.
Wow.
In that sort of space. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so it's a personal experience. You were married for 15 years, you said,
yes.
And it's been 15 years since you were in marriage.
Yes.
Okay. So you have lived this experience for the past 14 years.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, that's quite. That's quite some time and quite some experience that I can't wait to hear more about.
Yes.
And so, you know, what would you say, without getting into details, and of course, in this program, we do not try to drag other people who are not part of the conversation into the discussion, but we just want to hear Miss Winnie's experience. And so, what would you say are the circumstances or characteristics or that contributed maybe to the degeneration of your marriage? I mean, 15 years, because my marriage is mazhinji kanotarisirwa maybe akapfuura 7 years, they are very stable, and so on. Usually it's with 7 years and below, that's where most divorces do okay.
First I'll say that I think maybe there are 3 broad issues that I could talk about.
Yes.
The first issue is that I married very young. I was 21 years old.
Okay.
And I think when you're at that sort of age, you have a lot of people tell you what you must do. And you haven't quite developed as an adult.
Okay.
More so for someone who's in a marriage at 21. My friends were still in university, and they were doing all sorts of things, and I was already married with a child, and later on 2 children.
Okay.
So you haven't developed as a person. But as you get older, you develop, and a lot of things that you were told to do, or the things that you adopted, you sort of start saying, no, but that's not me, I want to be a different person, or you are now become a different person.
As you are maturing.
As you're maturing.
Yes.
And often those cause conflict. Because maybe people are used to you being maybe timid, and all of a sudden now you're outspoken. That kind of causes
you're becoming
conflict.
assertive and so on.
That's one thing.
Okay.
Then the other thing was that my husband and I lived with my in-laws.
Okay.
The entirety of our marriage. So we never,
for those 15 years?
For those 15 years, yeah.
Okay.
So we never really had the independence of a married couple. We were sort of, I could say we were just the children in my mother-in-law and my father-in-law's house.
Okay.
So a lot of decisions were made at the apex with my father-in-law and my mother-in-law. And I'm not saying that they were bad decisions at all.
Okay.
But I think we just never had the opportunity to be independent and to be able to to get to know each other, to be ourselves.
Okay.
And it didn't take long for our marriage to degenerate after my in-laws had passed on. We only lasted less than 2 years and we were already divorced. Because I think maybe we never really got the experience of handling our own marriage. Our marriage was sort of handled or nurtured by our in-laws, by my in-laws.
Okay.
So that was the one aspect.
Okay. So may you walk us through that once again? So what was the experience like before they passed away and after? What was the difference there? Was there more stability in the relationship, in your marriage before, when they were still around, than there was after they passed away?
My in-laws were the most wonderful people.
Okay.
They helped me bring up my children. I never had to worry about someone to babysit. My life was very good under my in-laws. They were very, very good to me.
Wow.
But I think, if I can use that word, we didn't know how to survive on our own. So my father-in-law, Ndovakatanga Kushaya, and then my mother-in-law died 6 years later. But there were people that had a lot of authority. They wielded a lot of authority within the family. My father-in-law, Ndovangavari Sekurvakuru. So you can imagine, he was very strict. So even kuti tigare with my ex-husband, kungo raise a voice, shut up. And noise. So from that perspective, that's why I was saying, and we didn't know how to handle these conflicts, if I can say that.
Yes.
Such that pavakanga vasisipo apa wachinja hausisiri munhu uye angambori timid kudhara, hausisiri kamwana kadiki wane yako opinion, an individual, you are growing in your career and so on. Wakuti aya ndakazomirira saka makutanga kunetsana manje. Uye akati chii noti handinzwaro, uye akadai noti handinzwaro, mheno zvako and so on.
That stabilizing voice is no longer there.
It was no longer there. There was no one to stop us. Kuti aiwa musadaro.
So in a sense, were you discovering yourselves maybe like
it was like a brand new marriage, if I can say that. It was like a brand new marriage.
But was it by design in the first place, kuti makanga mchigara now, or was it your choice, or it was because of circumstances?
I think initially it was because my father-in-law worked out of town.
Okay.
And my mother-in-law, vanga vari vega, and she was unwell.
Oh.
Saka, it was a bit difficult to vasiye vachigara vega because my husband had been living with navo,
Okay.
achivachengeta.
Okay.
So I think takagara ndokubva tatozongogara.
Okay. Kugara then
But tatozongogara.
Okay, so now in their absence, that's when you say kuti papa sina that restraining voice. Zvokuti kana kuri kutaudzana or whatever, you would then just go all the way.
You'd go all the way.
All the two of you and so on. And then lead. Okay, so you said there were three things, and you had mentioned two, I think, so far.
Yeah, the
Yes.
third thing was that, like I said, I'd married young.
Yes.
My ex-husband was a bit older than I was.
Okay.
And I began to develop as a
Uh-huh.
person. Career-wise, you start getting my promotions, you're away from home a little bit,
Oh.
and things like that. You become opinionated, unfortunately. You become this person that is, I'm now a boss, I'm now this.
Okay.
And
Is
all
it a conscious thing or maybe it's subconscious? You
I
don't even
think
realize that it's
it
happening
comes
to
without you realizing it.
Okay.
And it's only maybe pazinotanga kuita problem. And pazinoita problem unenge wakuti but what is the problem? Wakuda kunditira jealous because inini ndaita sei?
Okay.
And
All
those
right.
things now started playing out in the marriage.
Ah.
And obviously I was no longer submissive, if I can call it that.
Okay.
Because Naganda had this career person and so on. And that played a huge role in the degeneration of,
Oh,
of
is,
the
you
marriage.
think
Yes.
so? All right. You had many people, I mean, in your workspace, you had many people reporting to you and so on, and you're reporting to senior management and things like that. Okay, and traveling.
Traveling constantly. I was
Constantly.
constantly traveling.
All right.
To a point where that I had to put my children in boarding school because I was hardly at home.
Oh.
So and that took a strain on the marriage.
Oh, okay, okay, all right. All right, that took a strain on the marriage.
It took a strain on the marriage, yeah.
Until finally it's okay. How had you been married? Was it like a traditional marriage? Makachata kucheche ere? What kind of marriage would you say it was?
We had a civil union.
Okay.
The old chapter 37.
Okay.
Yeah, we were married that way. We married at the magistrate's court. And yeah, that was the marriage.
Okay. Oh, that was the marriage. So the dissolution of the marriage, kuzoti, it's now coming to a point of breaking down and everything like that. You went through a legal process, or it was just like an agreement that okay, that's it. Or
initially, at the time that I was the one that left, by the way.
Oh, okay.
I was the one that left the matrimonial home.
Oh, okay.
I just left in a half. I think initially it was one of those, I'm going away and then we'll see. But in trying to talk to each other after I had left, I think it made things worse.
Oh.
And I got to a point where I said, you know what, you're stifling my progress. I don't need this. So inini, I'm going off and I'm doing my own thing. So I started a whole new life on my own. Because I had become very focused on my career, because I could see where I was headed to. And I just thought, Kuti, I'm getting resistance for me to remain at a lower level, and I wanted to advance.
Okay.
So I took the option and chose my career instead of the marriage.
Sometimes many people mention kuti varumeka, they feel kind of like threatened or insecure. Let's say if a wife is earning more, or maybe she has a better paying job and things like that. And so do you think those are things that you could relate to as part of your experience? Or maybe the resistance you faced was totally from a different angle or quarter?
You know what, Pastor? When I look back, I sometimes think that the resistance that I thought was there was imaginary.
Oh, okay.
I don't think that my ex-husband said anything that any other husband would not say.
Okay.
Because I was now in a very, very busy job.
Okay.
And I think because I was taking it too seriously, I was probably busier than I actually was. Because
okay.
I wanted
That's
to
quite
excel,
something.
and I wanted to, because I was working every single day of the week.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So I think in him trying to tell me to slow down, because my husband was quite accomplished by the time we got married.
Oh,
he
he
was
was-
quite accomplished academically, and he was doing well in his career. So for me, it was like,
Okay, so it was more like but no. We also have the marriage. We need time for each other and for the kids and so on and so on, something like that. So he was not in a position where he was feeling threatened or feeling
No.
jealousy.
no,
Oh.
I wouldn't say it was that, but that's what I read.
Okay,
from,
that's what
from
at
the
that
way he was
time.
reacting to what was happening.
Okay.
I read that he was trying to block me, or he was now jealous
Okay.
that I was rising, and I was rising very fast.
Okay.
So I just felt that, why are you standing in my way, kind of thing. Just let me develop my own career just as much as you have developed yours.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So at that time, did you even think of the kids and so on?
I was very focused on the kids. So even Simbare Kushanda was about the life that I wanted my children to have now.
Okay.
The schools I wanted them to go to, and so
Okay.
on. I was so driven that I was building castles very, very fast.
Okay.
And I think maybe that was part of our downfall, if I can call it that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, dear viewers, as we hear experience here, Miss Muchanyuka, vachitaura pamusoro pe, the time that is needed. There is mention that three things that are so important for every marriage to do well. For example, number one, it is effective communication.
Yes.
Number two, taking time on a daily basis to bond as a family. And number three, resolving conflicts timeously.
Yes.
And in a constructive way, constructively. So it seems like on the number two, in engaging, taking time with family on a daily basis and so on, it's something that is so important, for a marriage to be strong and so on. So with hindsight, do you think yours is a marriage that could have been saved?
I think it's a marriage that could have been saved. It's a pity that at that time,
Yes.
the voice of reason that we used to have before was no longer there.
Oh, the voice of reason.
Yeah, I think that if my in-laws had still been alive at the time, we might be talking of a different story altogether.
Okay.
But that voice of reason was not there. The protection that we had from them was no longer there. So it became more like a free-for-all.
Okay.
It was like tamba yako ndo tamba yangu,
Okay.
kind of thing.
All right.
Until things just degenerated to a point where we couldn't even live in the same house.
I see. So when that happened, what challenges and changes came with this transition?
So the biggest change
Yes.
was that I was now on my own. And it was really a situation here, chinouya, chinotoona iwewe. Because you
Okay.
don't have anyone else. You can't say, Nai, we have this problem, what do we do?
What do we do?
Whatever comes,
Okay.
you have to deal with it by
Okay.
yourself. That was one. Number
All right.
two, you
Yes.
have all this freedom that you don't know what to do with.
Okay.
Because no one will tell you what time to come home, what time to
Okay.
go where, what time to do this. You can't go here, you can't go there.
Yes.
So you have all this time that you
Okay.
don't know what to do with. And in having all that time,
Yes.
you now also have an idle mind.
Okay. And all right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And an
yes.
idle mind conjures
yes.
up a lot of things.
Oh yeah.
The first year that I was on my own,
Uh-huh.
I traveled so much. I went to so many parties.
Wow.
I went to so many events.
Wow.
I changed my look. I went to the gym. I lost 22 kgs.
Yo.
I wanted to
Yo.
look good and all these things.
Wow.
I was hanging around the famous people in town,
Okay.
that sort of thing. And it doesn't help that my job exposes you to all these people. So it was,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
I was
yeah.
very busy.
All
So
right.
over and above the work, I was extremely busy.
Yeah, I
But,
can imagine.
But
Yeah.
you get tired.
All right. It's a certain
At
point.
a certain point, you get tired. And also depending on how you've been brought up and what your history is like. For me, it was, I just stopped one day and I said, what am I doing?
Yeah.
And I said, my mother would die if she knew that this is what I was doing.
Okay.
So I just made a U-turn
Oh,
completely.
Okay. It was like a Damascus
Yeah,
experience.
it was, and I did very drastic things.
Oh.
I left the place where I used to live. I didn't even tell my friends that I was living.
Okay.
I had a friend of mine who had keys to the apartment where I used to live because it used to have a geyser problem. And when I traveled, I would say, go and check if that geyser is not flooding
Leaking
the
or
house.
something, yes.
I left. I didn't tell them that I had left that place. I went to live somewhere else in town.
Wow.
Very quiet. She came 2 weeks after I'd left that place and opened the door, and there were strangers living in that house.
Whoa.
So I left. I didn't tell them. I went and I enrolled University of Zimbabwe, and I went and I did a master's there. And the master's program was I had to go there every Saturday and Sunday. So for me it was very convenient because Monday to Friday I was at work,
Okay.
Saturday and Sunday I was at school. So I didn't have time
Wow.
to be doing all these other activities.
Yes, yes.
That saved me.
Oh.
That saved me because I was really on a slippery slope.
Now your mind was no longer idle.
My mind was no longer
And
idle.
it pulled you from the slippery slope.
And I began to refocus. I also had a new set of friends coming into my life.
Oh.
And one friend in particular was Seventh-day Adventist.
Oh, okay.
And there was a campaign at Chisipiti Shopping Center.
Okay.
And they invited me.
All
to come.
right.
And then I was like,
Okay.
And I used to call them funny people.
Oh, funny people.
Although I have family members that were
Okay.
Adventists.
Yes. all
Who
right.
never invited me to the church, by the way.
Okay, okay. Oh, they never invited
They never
you.
invited me.
Wow.
But this friend invited me, and I said, I will come, but I'll come on one condition.
Okay.
That since it's at that car park, I will listen from my car. I don't want to sit in the congregation.
Oh, is it so?
And it was because of my job, I'm exposed to a lot of people.
Oh.
And I just thought I didn't want to go and sit there, and then there are people that know me.
Oh, all right.
And then it would be like, chichanetsa. So for 2 weeks whilst that campaign was going on, I went every single evening
Oh,
and
is it
listened
so?
from my car.
Is it so?
If you ask me what the message was about, I barely remember.
Oh.
But what impressed me
Yes.
was the timekeeping.
Oh,
The timekeeping was immaculate, and I was like, I like this church.
is it so?
Then after the campaign, I was like, okay, so what is the
That's
closest
quite
church?
interesting.
Yeah.
That's quite
What's
interesting.
the closest church to my house? And it was the Grange Church. So
Okay.
I started fellowshipping at the Grange Church.
Okay.
And it was a very funny experience because I was very wayward in the way I dressed, the
all
way I
right.
presented myself. I am an extremely
You
confident
came as
person.
you were.
I rocked
Okay.
a bald head.
Oh, wow.
And I had earrings this big,
Ooh.
nails this long, and red makeup, everything.
Yo.
And even when the first day I arrived at the Grange Church, they must have thought, what has happened to this church?
Yes.
But
yes. Yes.
but
and-
because I had family that were Adventists and
Yes.
very modest people,
Yes.
I went to the church with an attitude that no one is going to change me.
Oh, okay.
So for a while, I continued to dress like this.
Yes.
But then I began to notice something. There was a little boy
Okay.
in the church, and he would look at me and he would be like, this strange creature.
Okay.
Because Vana, they've been taught from when they're little how as Adventists we
Yes.
dress, how we present
Yes.
ourselves.
Yes. Yes.
That pastor is what made me change my dressing.
Is it
And
so?
I was like, I'm distracting this child when I come
Looks
to
like
church.
God is working in unusual ways with you. I mean, the
I
first
was
is
like,
that timekeeping. It's not necessarily the messages,
Yeah.
the timekeeping, and then this boy.
And I said, no, I will not dress like this.
Okay.
Then I took off the earrings.
Okay.
I started wearing a wig because I didn't have
Okay.
hair on my head. I dressed more
All right.
moderately. Then I began to take an interest in the word, attended baptismal class.
Oh.
But even then, I had pressure because then I went to a church and there were people that I knew.
Okay.
And now there was pressure for me to get baptized. I was like, no, I'm certain
All right. Yes. Yes.
And it took me a year.
Oh.
Then I was baptized.
Oh.
And I was totally convinced.
Okay. By then. Yes.
But what also helped me is that the message
Yes.
in that year, Pastor Yaita Fanke, it had been set for me.
Is it so?
I was transformed completely.
Wow.
People that knew me before
Wow.
and people that knew me after the change.
After that. Yes.
Even my friends from the party days,
Yes.
they became my right defender.
Okay.
They would be like, no, there's a party here, let's go out.
Okay.
Don't even bother with this one.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
that transformation
Yes.
happened, and it also happened at just the right time. I had been very bitter and angry towards God.
Oh.
Because before I was married, I attended the Methodist church
Okay.
and
yes.
was very active in the church.
All right.
And because I was always with my mother-in-law,
Yes.
whenever there was a lesson of mother-in-law and daughter-in-law,
Uh-huh.
it was our lesson to take at the church.
Oh.
So we were very, very active members of the church. But I just felt like, Maria, how could you let this happen? How could you allow this happen? So I was
Okay.
very bitter.
Wow.
I was extremely bitter.
Yes.
And ndakatombogara time ndasingatombozwa handidi munhu anotaura nyaya yekuti church.
Okay, okay.
So when this happened, it was my saving grace. And I fellowshiped with people that were very welcoming, and they accommodated me, even in my initial strangeness.
Wow.
They accommodated me, they nurtured me, and I became very strong and convicted. As not about time Nanato Women's Ministries direct.
Is it so?
And I got myself very involved in all the things that
Wow.
were happening. And
you're really a person of action.
Yeah.
And you're not the one to stand by the sidelines and just watch things happen. It sounds to me like you're of a choleric temperament.
I think so.
Self-driven and
very self-driven.
People who really, when they want to achieve something, they set their mind to it. You know, the way you are making your changes, you know, it's like, I mean, you are decisive, very decisive.
But it's not as if it had no challenges past.
Yes.
So even in my strangeness,
Yes.
I could feel the judgment.
Okay.
It's just that, like I said, I'm a confident person and I don't really care.
Okay.
If what you think about me does not resonate with me, I don't care about it.
Okay. Wow.
So I could say, this I'm not going to take.
Yes.
And if something was coming across and it was constructive, I would take it.
Okay. You.
But I could feel the judgment.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I could feel, sometimes you're treated as a lesser person because you're divorced. The whole stigma around divorce was so apparent.
Oh, okay. Like, is it like in like in society in general, or particular places or particular times when you'd really feel it? Yeah.
You know,
Kanapa.
let's say maybe just in a general community or general society.
Yes.
There's this then element of hana murume.
Okay.
And because hauna murume, people think they can abuse you because of that.
Okay.
If
in what ways, for
kana pane chiri kumusha,
Okay.
winning ngaendi,
okay.
haana munhu anomurambidza.
Oh. Okay.
My uncle, my dad's older brother, would say, kana pachida kuitwa a family meeting or family event, handei kwawini because hakuna government.
Oh.
That's all. People kind of like take you for granted
Right.
because there's this. You will find that your younger sister who's married commands more respect within the family
is
than
it so?
Iwewe,
Okay.
and because you're not married.
Oh.
So all
Okay.
these things,
That difference in status.
that difference in status plays out.
All right.
You find,
But would it be like your siblings, or it is like the way the other people relate to you, and maybe let's say your sister, or it
no,
would be like
my siblings are okay.
Okay. But the rest of the family?
It's like the older generation.
Okay,
The older
alright.
generation within the family setup. And these things happen subconsciously. They don't go out of their way to do this, but, it's things that are embedded in their subconscious. Saka, that's just how society is. That's how society stereotypes.
Okay.
People that are single or people that are divorced. So you find these things play out.
Yes.
You find even the way men relate to you.
Okay.
They just think you're available.
Oh, okay.
Because haunaka.
All right.
So they just think you're available. Even the way they approach you, they assume you are loose.
Okay.
Or you can just give yourself
to them.
To them.
Okay.
And even the way they address you.
Okay.
It would be like, if we are even in a professional setting, even societal, it would be like, wini na mainingi.
Oh, okay. All right.
Wini or mainingi. Anditi. Pamwe panotadza kana kuti moti ndimisi muchanyoka here kana tichi. And one other interesting thing that I used to come across was people that then would find out that ndakadivorce.
Yes.
They would say, oh, shame.
Oh, okay.
Ndo zvakaitika.
Yeah.
Ko wakarambirwei.
Oh. Because it seems like in most cases it's almost like mind
akarambwa.
Yeah, akarambwa chibva panapa.
So,
yes, and
but
so on.
you know, I have a very strong head on my shoulder, so a lot of those things didn't really affect me.
Okay.
But
all right.
judgment yeku church is what used to affect me.
Okay. How would this judgment come? In what form? In what way?
You know, pastor vanhu vanokwanisa kusimudza ruoko so
Okay.
muboard or muchurch business meeting or whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
or vanhu vanokwanisa kuenda kuma-elders nekuseri kuti munhu uyu munomupirei basa muchiziva kuti haana murume.
Okay.
And you'll be like, okay, where is the qualification yekuti basa
As if
raMwari
it's pane a
rinoda
prerequisite.
rinoda kuti rive munhu ari married chete and so on. You know, we were talking earlier offset
Yes.
about nyaya yekuLomagundi camp.
Yes, yes.
There was a time we were at Lomagundi camp and there was a discussion around family matters.
Yes.
And one of the discussions was then about divorce during the week.
Okay.
And vanhu vanga vakagara mumaclasses vachidiscussa the issue of divorce. And people were at liberty and they were very comfortable in the things that they were saying in that setting. Until one lady raised her hand,
Yes.
almost in tears. And she says, zvenyu muchaenda kudenga nevarume venyu nemadzimai enyu. Isusu tisina, we've already been condemned.
Wow.
And it was because I think vanhu vanongotaura vari very comfortable.
I mean,
They are not
how does
conscious
this
of-
condemnation come? I mean, it's things like what that maybe we say unconsciously. It's remarks like what? I mean, it's blaming.
But it's like, it's almost like exclusion.
Okay.
I think exclusion is the worst because people might not say things because they know if I say this, I might offend.
Oh, okay, okay.
But people can choose to ignore you. They can
Okay.
choose to pretend as if you're not there. It's exclusion
So it's
because
like
you want to be part of this community, but people tend to like
it's
put
like
us on the
segregation.
side. Yeah, like segregation.
Okay.
And you see,
Uh-huh.
just like the example that I gave you, Kutichi,
Yes.
munompirei basa iye asina.
Ah,
this.
okay,
Like,
all right.
okay, zvakatoitika, I can't do anything about my situation.
And it's not a
but here
prerequisite
I
for
am,
this task.
But here I am, I want to do the Lord's work.
Yes.
Why then are you chi?
Uh-huh.
Why then are you saying I can't do this because I am not married?
Oh.
And it's more.
Yes. Yes.
There are a lot of subconscious things that happen within the church, pastor.
Oh.
Even association inonzi whisper here.
Yes.
Ngaichinjwayo zita yangonzi widows and widowers. Chet. And nobody else.
Okay.
Because the other people that are single in that setup are not catered for. They are not catered for by that organization.
Okay. All right.
If we were to take a tally today, pastor, and go around to the churches and say, have you had a deliberate program for divorced people? You will find that there is not.
Okay.
And no one has mentioned anything about divorced people
All right.
or people that have had children out of wedlock.
Okay. Nothing is.
Nothing.
The church is not catering
The
for that.
church is not catering for that.
Okay.
And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because they are unusual situations
Okay.
or situations that I hear people say a lot about God hates divorce. But God hates a lot of other things. It's not just divorce that he hates.
All right.
God hates a lot of other things.
Okay. Yeah.
But
yeah. Yeah.
do we segregate people just because God hates divorce? God hating it does not mean it's not happening.
Yeah.
It's happening.
It is happening.
And it's happening within your church.
Yes.
So what are you doing about these people that have
Okay.
been affected?
Yes.
If you
yes.
exclude them further, Vanita say, they will leave the church.
Oh.
They will leave the church pastor and they will go where they are accepted.
Oh. Okay. Yes.
I know churches that have deliberate programs for
Okay. All right.
Vanvarichi.
Yes.
And
Right.
they've even gone and changed even constitutionalism to accommodate because it's real. It's
Okay,
happening.
Because it's real.
You can't pretend
So in
because it's
other
not
words,
happening.
So sometimes maybe we want to keep on fighting for this ideal, which is not always
Yes.
the case, because the reality is that there are situations and people do get divorced.
And it's saying
Yes.
we are still this side of heaven.
Oh, yes.
And once we're still this side of heaven, these things are happening.
These things are
and they're
happening.
happening to members of our church.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And the church is the last place of refuge that you can go to.
Yes, the
Manje
place of
ukaenda
hope.
kuchurch,
And
ukarejectwa kuchurch,
Okay.
you are condemned.
And you may even have an attitude against God himself.
Oh yes, and you would say,
Okay.
what kind of a church is this that doesn't accept me?
Would you have known, I mean, by any chance, would you say you have known of some people that have really struggled with this in the church?
Plenty.
People who are divorced and so on, who have struggled with this?
Plenty. Like I was saying, I enjoy this discussion.
Yes.
And I enjoy kubatsirana nevanhu that find themselves in this situation.
Okay, yes.
To say to them, look, it's not the end of the world. God loves every and single human being.
Human being,
No
yes.
matter kuti, vakaita sei. And the Bible has given us plenty of examples of people that did worse than we've come across even.
Yes,
But they
yes.
still
Yes.
they still in the end became
Yes.
people that have made a difference. How many books in the Bible has Paul written? But Paul angari munhu angakaita sei.
Yes,
So
yes.
because I find myself in a situation that is not ideal does not make me a lesser person.
Yes.
But people struggle with rejection because anenge auya kuchurch achitichi at least vanhu vekuchurch they will welcome me and I will not be judged like I'm judged out there.
Yes.
Handiti?
Yes.
Mukanzwa vamwe vanotaura kuti kubhawa kune shamwari dzakawanda kupfuura dzekuchechi.
Wow. So people can be more understanding kubhawa than
Even in my parting days,
Okay.
I had plenty of friends, Pastor.
Okay.
Plenty of friends. I never felt lonely. I was never broke. I was never out of food. I was never out of anything. They would be there in an instant. Shamwari idzodzo.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
but then when you come to the church,
Yeah.
all people see is this divorcee.
Wow. Yeah, I think those words sting, and they are heavy words. Dear brothers and sisters, patiri kuteerera mashoko aya, ngatifungei nemashoko atinotaura, not only mashoko, but mwoyo yedu, our attitude, patinosangana nevanhu vari musituation yakaita seiyoyi. I mean, people who have gone through the experience of divorce, who are going through the experience of divorce, who will in the future maybe go through this experience. Kuti mashoko api tinoatarisa neziso rakaita sei, zvii zvatinotaura behind their backs, is it helping them, are we representing Christ to them, kana kuti we are actually chucking them out of church, and so on. Isn't that painful kuti zvinzi kubhawa nekumapati kune shamwari dziri more faithful kana kuti dzinomira newe kudarika kuchechi. Mumwe akanyora bhuku akangoti pafunge, ngatifungei nezvazvo. So how about within your family, like kwamunoberekwa, kwamuchanyuka, did you encounter any other challenges other than kuti maybe the way you are, I mean, people relate to you maybe different, kuti hauko hakuna hurumende or whatever and so on?
I think to start with, my parents were very disappointed.
Okay.
They were very disappointed because earlier on,
Yes.
vakanga vambondidzidzisa kuti usazvikurumidzire.
Oh.
So because ndakakurumidza and then the marriage broke down, they were disappointed kuti you should have waited and things like that. But in no time, they became very supportive.
Oh, okay.
Even nevazukuru vavo kukudza vana and all, they were very supportive. I had the greatest support. Even the extended family, even baba mukuru vangu vandiri kutaura kuti vaiti kumba kwawini.
Yes.
It wasn't really meant out of spite,
Okay, yeah.
but it was
Yes,
meant
yes,
out
yes.
of like we are very comfortable.
Okay,
we can
that's
do this.
right.
I am very popular within my family.
Okay.
I'm well loved,
All
and
right.
I don't feel even kuma in-laws.
Okay, even
I
my
am,
in-laws.
yeah, I am well
Do
loved.
you still have contact with your in-laws?
Yes, I still have contact with my in-laws. I'm well loved. I'm, they've embraced me. They've embraced Vana, and everything is fine.
Okay.
So within the family setup, I can't say that I had really
Okay.
my challenges akawanda. It was just the initial phase that my parents were really disappointed. But after some time, it
Understandably
was
so, I
water
guess.
under the bridge, and then we continued with
Hapana
life.
kumboita drama here pavana kuti custody yevana, because many times panoitika like divorce, I think it's one of the topical issues kuti vana vachaenda kupi, or in your, what was your experience?
In my case, maybe I can say fortunately, my children were already away in boarding school.
Okay.
And because my travel was a lot to South Africa, I put them in school there.
Oh,
And they were in boarding school there. So it was very easy for me to go and see them.
I see.
And so custody was never really an issue because they were away anyway.
Okay.
So hapana kumbeta drama in that instance. The children were free to be with me or to be with their father.
Okay.
So there wasn't any drama in that respect.
Oh, okay. All right. I think.
Although as we talk about nyayevana in that setup, one of the challenges in kind of divorce is that divorce inoburitsa a character side yongo singazivi kuti unayo.
Oh, okay. Tell me
All
a bit
the
more
vile
about
that is in you,
Okay.
it comes out because divorce is acrimonious.
Okay. Yes.
And vanhu vanenge vari charged up, vanhu vanenge vari angry, and sometimes couples project this pamberi pevana and all that.
All right.
Zvinovhiringidza vana.
Okay.
Zvinovhiringidza vana to a point where vana vanokwanisa kutopika mamwe macharacter traits ipapo ekuti later on in life vanofunga kuti it's
Okay,
quite
it's normal.
kana
Yes.
kutuka baba kana kutuka mudzimai or
Yes,
something like that,
yes.
or kuti mudzimai akandinetsa ndinomunyima mari and things like that, because these are the things that play out kana muri kuningira kana muri kuita divorce. So in as much as possible is to try and protect vana from whatever acrimony that you have, and try and create some kind of safe bubble for them, so that the
They're
impact
shielded
yacho, the impact yacho is not
direct
not
on
that,
the, okay.
on them.
You know, one of the things that is mentioned in my studies on divorce, usually they say that in many instances the woman usually loses like income by up to about 67%, maybe within the first year of divorce. But maybe that was yours was a different experience.
I can't say that I was without money. No, because I had climbed the ladder, but my lifestyle dropped drastically. No, 67% to tell you.
Okay.
Because remember when I was in the matrimonial home, we had a joint income. My husband was a career person; he was quite successful. So we had this. But now I was trying to maintain life in Jaira with a lesser income. And also the responsibilities that then come with paying rent, paying this, buying your fuel, and all these other things that come with my expenses that my living expenses that you have. So your lifestyle changes. Your lifestyle changes a lot. Whilst you might have a good job and all that, but my changes why lifestyle change.
Okay, all right. So one is to adjust.
You have to adjust
to the new reality. But how did you explain to the children? Did you both sit them down, or it was one of you at a time, or at different times? How did they take it?
I went to South Africa to tell the children.
Okay.
I went to South Africa to tell the children, and my older one was just over 14.
Okay.
And one of the teenagers, when I told him, I was just like, why? And I was just like, no, we are not getting along. And then he walked off and he just said, whatever. And he walked off and went away. And I'd actually gone to take them out for the weekend. He ended up not spending the weekend with me. He went with his friends.
Is it so?
Yeah. But because as a parent, it's not, it sounds like it's very easy to go and deliver that message and say, I'm the parent and this is what is happening.
Yes.
But you're also feeling very guilty. I'm letting these ones down. So when my son did that, it really broke my heart. But I had to keep it together for the younger one.
Okay.
And then when I told the younger one, he cried. And he was just saying, Mom, but why? I'm only 11 years old. That's what he kept saying. I'm only 11 years old. Why? I'm only 11 years old.
Yes.
I was meant to come back to Harare the next day, but I ended up spending an extra day because my son was just inconsolable.
Okay. Wow.
But the schools helped.
Okay.
The schools had psychologists that, then...
So did you engage the school?
Yeah, I engaged the school to let them know that this is what is happening. But I think the schools see this all the time. Plays out all the time amongst the children, and then they were like, leave it with us. We'll help you as much as we can. And I had great support from both schools. I was in constant touch with Van Chikoro. I visited more often.
Okay.
And I think that kind of helped. But you can never know, really, Pastor, the impact that this thing has on your children until maybe much, much later. Much later in life.
I hear you.
Even now, as I sit with the boys, we talk about things that happened, and they'll say, remember Pai, I was going through this. Remember Pai, I went through this, and so on.
I see. So what are some of the things you would say have helped you, cope with this difficult situation? Of course, you have mentioned about, church and being involved and, active and so on. But what are some of the things? Are there like particular messages that were preached, particular Bible verses or books or songs that have really spoken to you?
My friend who invited me to that
evangelistic campaign.
Yeah, to that campaign.
At Chisipitia.
She, in our very first conversation about going to church, shared Romans 8:28 with me, because I had been crying and inconsolable because I was now overwhelmed by all the things that were happening in my life. And then he said, "Good, you know what?
Yes.
All
so Romans 8:28, and we know that all
these things that are happening to
work
you,
together for
they
good.
work together for your good.
To those that love the Lord and are called according to His purpose."
Yes. And for a long time, I carried that verse with me everywhere.
Oh, is it so?
And whatever challenge I faced, I will just say, "No, this thing is working in good. It's working for my good. It's working for my good. It's working for my good."
Yes.
So that helped me.
Yes.
And then he also shared Jeremiah 29:11.
Yes.
I know the plans that I have for you.
Yes.
So all these two verses, especially, they gave me a lot of confidence and a lot of hope that, God has plans for my life. Even if this has happened,
Yes.
it doesn't mean my life has ended. He
Yes.
has plans for my life, for the future.
Yes.
And then we continued, and I continued. I was very active in the church. I made sure I was very active in the church
Yes.
because I wanted to stay close to the word. I studied the word with friends. I prayed with friends and so on.
Yes.
I did whatever work I could do within the church. I'd do that. But like I said earlier on, I also took to studying.
Yes.
And I became a studying junkie.
Okay. A
And I
bookworm.
I kept reading and reading because that just took me away from everything.
Okay. Yes.
And Mwari does really separate us because Saturdays
Yes.
were days where the
Okay.
people that I'm used to are very busy on Saturdays.
All right.
So it would have been easy for them to say, come, let's do this, come, let's do this.
Yes.
But God led me to a church where I'd have to go on Saturday.
Yeah.
Even Sunday, vanenge busy vari kwavo kuchurch.
All right.
So hatina time yekuti nyanya kuita zvinhu zvakawandisa.
Okay. All right.
So
all right.
these things then helped me. And
Yes.
again, chinhu chinonzi quartile
Yes.
chakaoma.
Okay.
Because as you study. Every
Yes.
day you are studying.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
constantly the word is with you, and every day you are picking up something that will
Yes.
encourage you.
Yes, that encourages.
So as I grew in the faith,
Yes.
I became very confident.
Ah.
Even speaking at public forums,
Okay.
church, advising other people. Mount Pleasant, there's a thing that I do my bridal showers where I'm invited to speak about what could I have done differently.
Oh yes.
Because you know when you go to a bridal shower, everyone is talking about all the rosy things that can
yes,
happen.
all the rosy things and everything
no,
like
yeah,
that.
then this and
like
you,
divorce
and you
doesn't
and your
even
husband,
exist.
like it doesn't exist.
Yes.
But then I go in there and I think, Manu, they look at you and they would think, did you really go through a divorce?
Okay,
Everything
yeah.
seems to be okay
Yeah,
now.
yeah, you seem to
But
be-
it's a journey that you've traveled and you're
Yes.
able to share with. I also somehow now attract people that are going through these things and they come to me to talk. And even as I talk
Yes.
to them, I tell them my own experiences and what I've gone through and the things that they should watch out for and the pitfalls that they should watch
Yes,
out for and things that
yes.
they should avoid
Yes.
because I've traveled
In
that
fact,
route.
that takes us to our very next question, which is, I mean, as you look at life and people's experiences and situations and so on, whatever, with regards to marriage and divorce, what are some of the things that people should watch out for? Don't ignore these kind of things or don't do these kind of things. They may actually lead to breakdown in marriage. What are some of the things that would be at the,
So from my experience,
yes,
I would say the first thing is that be very open with each other.
okay, so communication.
Communication
Oh, okay,
and be
openness,
very,
alright.
very open.
Okay.
Chinhu chausingadi ngotaura pakuti handichidi. Handiti.
Yeah, so this has to do with communication, transparency.
Transparency and kutaura chinhu kuti handichidi
Okay.
handina kuti handikudi.
Okay,
That
alright.
chakati and maybe explain why. Sometimes I'll say kuti you know what? When you leave mbatya dzako dzakazarapo.
Yes.
Ini handizvifariri zvinotondivhiringidza.
Yes.
Just pick them up ungokanda apa.
Yes.
Handiti.
Yes.
As opposed to handizvida zvaunoita izvi.
Okay. Yes.
So
actually what you've said there is because there are two basic ways we can communicate. Using I messages or you messages. And you messages closes lines of communication, it accuses and it names and shames. But I think you've phrased it in a way that is an I message.
Handizvifariri.
That's an I message. It opens lines of communication.
Communication,
It is helps you get your message across.
tadaro even ndataura kuti chakati
Yes,
handidi.
yes, it is specific.
Ndinofanirwa kumirira kuti ndinzwe tsanangudzo inobva uko.
Okay,
Because
all right.
inini pakuti handidi uyu anokwanisa kunge asiri kutonzwisisa message yangu.
Okay.
So how I am encoding the
Yes,
message
and
is not
the-
how
how
it's decoded.
decoding,
Uyu
yes.
anenge akutoda kutondidherera.
Okay.
Basa remukadzi kuti ubvise zvinhu izvi. Handiti muri kuona.
Potato
So
miscommunication.
ngatimire futi ndinzwe kuti uyu chii chinomboita kuti udai. Then we come to we come to a place where we can say okay,
Yes.
into the future.
Yes.
Shamwari chiregedza kudai so nekuti inini zvinoti affect. Handiti. Ivo vazoti all right, okay, iwe uchindibatsira.
Okay.
Maybe hapatomborina pekukandira hembe dzacho that's why dziri
Okay, ndosaka dziri apa.
uchindibatsira kuti make sure there's a laundry basket and I can
Okay.
put the things in there.
All right.
So communication. Two,
Yes.
and this one I might become very unpopular with the women.
Okay,
But
okay.
it's something that I lived through.
Okay.
Kana tawana mabasa aya pastor.
All right. Yes.
Kana tawana mabasa aya.
Uh-huh.
Ngatiregedze kukangana kuti tivana mai.
Oh, okay.
And kukangana kuti tivana mai, it's not so much kuti hanzi I become rude.
Okay.
Or I'm not submissive. but we begin to neglect zvimwe
Okay.
zvinhu.
All right.
Like I said to you, ndakanga ndakutoona kuti vana ndakutovaneglect vana vaendesa kuboarding school.
All right. Yes.
But umwe might not then have the resources to send vana to boarding school or whatever, zokuti vana become neglected.
All right. Yes.
it-
Yes.
The role that you need to play, no
Yes.
matter kuti even waita president wenyika,
Okay.
you must continue to play the role yekuti ndiwe mai. But isusu
And it seems like the new Tanzanian president is modeling
yes.
that.
So patinotaura pai kuti equal pay, equal jobs, equal rights.
Yes,
chichi.
yes.
Pane zvinhu zviri fundamentals zvatinokwanisa kuti tingati equal.
Yes.
But when we are in the home setting,
Okay.
equal chai handifungi kuti iri kwenini pastor kuona kwangu hangu.
Okay.
Munhu nemunhu ane
Okay.
role yake yaanofanirwa kuita sei,
Yaanofanirwa kuplay.
yaanofanirwa kudai. Baba vakaregedza kuuya nemari yechikafu mumba,
Yes.
mai vanotora chiya vakuenda ndivo vakunotsvaga. Ende kana vatsvaga mari iyai, havanotouya vaine masoko ekutaura pamusoro pemari yavanotsvaga iyi.
Okay.
Nekuti vanenge vaine frustration yekuti baba havasi kutsvaga mari.
All right.
Saka vanotouya vaane chi,
Yes.
vaane mutemo nemari iyai.
Okay.
Even baba vai vakutopiwa mutemo pamusoro pechi,
Okay.
pemari
Pemari
iyai.
iyai kuti mungapfachure mari. Yes.
Babawo on the other hand, kana varivo vashanda, ndivo
Yes.
vakudetermina kuti pamba panodyiwa brisket.
All
chete.
right. Okay.
Apa mai marecipe avanoziva ese ndesteak. So zvinotanga kuita sei, zvinotanga kunetsa. Whilst we have careers, whilst we pursuing whatever we are pursuing,
Yes,
I think
yes.
let's continue to play the role that we need to play within the home.
Okay. Within
That
the
is
home.
crucial.
All
Because
right.
a lot of the marriages, pastor, ndopa kufira ipapo.
Okay.
Because then I would no, I've come from work, I'm tired, I'm not going to cook. You are going to cook. Or, but hazvitaurwi murudo,
Yes.
zvakutotaurwa mu a sense of entitlement.
All right.
Handiti.
Okay.
Ndakazviita pastor.
All right.
And that's why I sit here today.
Wow.
It was one of the major contributing factors because
Okay.
ndakanda kuti you know what, ini ndiri busy. Ndofanira kuita zvekubasa.
All right.
Ndofanira kuita I need to achieve this. Ndaitoplace importance deadline yekubasa
Okay.
as opposed to deadline dzekumba.
All right.
Saka we need to continue to play those roles within the home.
Yes.
And
yes.
in all these things, pastor,
yes.
hapana chinoita kana zvisina Jesu mukati.
All right. Yes. Yes.
Hapana zvinoita, and I've lived it, I've seen it, and kana zvisina Mwari mukati zvinofeila.
Zvinofeila.
Pane pazvinotozosvika chete pazvinofeila.
Wow.
We need God in our lives.
Yes.
Tinofanira kutotsvaga Mwari zvakasimbisisa, and
Zvakasimba.
especially kana
Yes.
utori wega.
I see.
Tambotaura nyaya yestigmatization
Yes,
paya. Ndakamboenda kune imwe campaign yaitaura, I think it was evangelist Mulamba achitaura kuti musadherere vanhu vari single nevanhu vari divorced.
Okay.
Because ndo vanhu vari pedyo naMwari, because vanogara vari pamabvi vachikumbira.
Vachikumbira
Because
chokwadi.
vanoshoterwa vari vega.
Yeah.
Mwana anonetsa ari ega.
Yes, yes.
Chii chino magetsi anofa ari ega.
Yes.
Hapana kumwe kwanoenda nokuti nhai Mwari.
Nhai Mwari.
Nhai Mwari.
It's you and
Saka
I.
anogara ari close to God. So it's
Yes.
very important, pastor, kuti if you find yourself in this situation,
Yes.
stay close to God.
Stay close to God.
Bible rinototaura kuti he is very close to the broken hearted.
Yes.
Saka tikagara tiri pedyo naMwari,
Yes.
tinoona kuti even machallenges anouya, we are able to handle them zviri nani, because tinenge tiri pedyo nani, tinenge tiri pedyo naMwari.
Yes. Thank you so much. Miss Winnie Muchanyuka. Toda kutenda zvikuru kwazvo nemashoko iwayo. Mashoko akasimba zvikuru. And I think your words have just reminded me Psalm 127 verse 1 inotaura kuti kana Jehovha asingavaki imba, vavaki vanovaka pasina. Kana asingarindi guta, kunyange varindi vanorinda pasina. Saka kunyange tikati mari iripo and what you are saying kuti pane patinozosvika where things will just fail. The center will not hold.
It will not hold.
Yeah, because marriage institution yakaiswa naMwari. And so kuti tiimhanye without him in the process, at some point we are going to run out of energy. Okay, thank you so much. So maybe your final thoughts or words, mungati kudii, kune mumwe munhu, maybe someone is watching this program and maybe they are contemplating divorce, or they are going through it, or they've just been through it, and I mean their world has just fallen to pieces. What would be your words and your final thoughts on this topic?
I would say kuti tombotanga nekuti someone who's contemplating it. I would say kuti imboedzai.
Okay.
Keep trying.
Okay.
Imboedzai kuti mutaure, seek help.
Okay.
Tsvagai maybe vanhu vangakubatsirai kuti mumbotaura. Because
So
sometimes
in your case, did you have any counseling support?
ndakabva ndatoti handisi kutomboda munhu anondibvunza anything.
Wow.
Ndakabva ndati ndisiyei, musanditeere, musandibvunze anything I didn't want.
Okay, all right. But muri kukurudzira vamwe kuti seek help.
Takatozozvona papa yekuti I
Okay.
wish someone had helped me.
Oh, all right.
Because then after that life will become real. And you say, I wish someone had pulled me aside and spoken to
Okay.
me. So tsvagai vanhu vekuita sei vekutaura navo, endai whether kuna pastor or hama or whoever can assist you.
Yes.
Imbotrayai
All
kuti
right.
muite sei mutaura.
Yes. Mhm.
And chimwe chiri important ndechekuti try and see the matter from the other person's perspective.
Oh.
Imboisa yako iwo paside.
Okay.
And analyze kuti munhu izvi ari kutaura
Okay.
zviri kunyatsomeka sense here,
All right.
zvine substance here.
Okay.
Is it something that I can change? Is
Okay.
it something that I can adjust?
All right.
Kuti muite sei
Yes.
kuti muedze kuwirirana.
Yes.
Chinhu chinonzi pride chakaipa,
Chakaipa.
because if you are too proud, if you are too proud even to say kuti you know what, I'm sorry,
All right. Yes.
zvandaifunga hazvisi rizvo
Hazvisi rizvo,
kana kuti
yes.
zvandandaronga hazvisi rizvo, ndinokumbirawo kuti take me back,
Okay.
or ndinokumbirawo kuti ngatitangei patsva.
Okay.
Handiti? But we are too proud. We are too proud kuti nditi,
Okay, that pride will stand in the
handingambomuti
way.
sori.
Okay.
Ndikamuti sori anozoita manyemwa.
Okay. Wow.
So
Saka unofira right of way.
unenge uchingoti mheno zvazvaita ndizvozvo.
Okay.
But and we are just proud.
All right.
Tinonyara vanhu pastor.
Okay.
Tinonyara vanhu kuti zvino vanhu vachazoti chii, maybe chii, no. But vanhu havana basa.
All right.
Vanhu havana basa in the grand scheme of things. Even kana wanga wambonyanya kukanganisa sei or marriage yacho yanga yavhiringika zvakadii.
Yes.
Vanhu havana basa. Vanhu vanotaura 2 days pastor.
Okay.
Vachitaura 2 days panenge patobuda imwe
But-
yakatopfuura yenyu imimi ndo yavanenge vakutaura.
Yeah,
Imimi
yatokagadzikwa.
matokusiyai. But
Okay.
imimi munenge maita sei? Munenge mavhiringidza
Magadzirisana zvinhu
zvinhu
zvenyu zvatoita.
So vanhu havana basa. Vanotaura vai ndinotaura
Yes.
havana basa.
All right.
Tsvagai vanhu vari close to you vanokwanisa kukuyananisai. Kana zvazorambawo
Okay.
zvinenge zvazorambawo asi munenge munenge
Yes.
mamboedza.
Yes.
Ari kuenda through it. Like I said, try and shield vana.
Okay.
That is very crucial.
All right.
Kuti try and shield vana from
Yes.
kutukana nekupopotedzana kwamunenge muchiita kana zvinhu even pakuda kugovana zvinhu kana kuti pakuda kuita sei pai.
Yes.
Don't forget kuti mune vana.
All right.
Ngatiregedzei kuva selfish. Handiti?
Yes.
Munonotaurirana.
Okay.
Mowirirana. Moita safeguard chi, moita safeguard vana.
All right.
Even as you are going through it, it is not final until judge assign a decree
Okay.
yekuti you have been divorced.
All right.
And saka even the day before you go to court kuti maakunoti judge anopa judgment, you can still reverse
Okay.
the process. Saka opportunity yekutaurirana inongoramba iripo.
All right.
Saka try as much as you can kuti muite sei mutaurirane.
Yes.
Malawyers anomboedza.
Okay.
Even pamunenge vanotokubvunza mamboedza kutaurirana here.
Okay.
Vamwe vacho vanototanga kutozoita take the role of being counselors.
Okay.
Kuti ko mamboedza zvakati mamboedza zvakati.
Okay.
So kutaurirana kunongoramba kuripo
All right.
until the day that decree
Is given.
is given. Akaenda through it or akatodivorsa.
Yes.
You are not a lesser person.
Okay.
You are not a second class citizen. We take lightly zvinotaura kunzi we are created in the image of God. Mwari havazvishori.
Yes.
Mwari havazviti ndandinokwana
Yes,
handikwani
yes.
kana kuti chi. And don't play victim.
Okay.
Handiti? Because sometimes, like I was saying to you earlier,
Yes.
zvimwe zvinhu zvaunenge uchifunga zvinenge zviri imaginary. It's only in your head.
Okay.
Kungotarisa vanhu vobva vati vakutonditarisa kuti ndakadai chi.
Okay.
Have
All
confidence.
right. Okay.
Handiti?
Yes.
Bible says we are fearfully and wonderfully made. Carry that with you. Kuti I'm
Yes.
fearfully and wonderfully made. I'm
Yes.
not a lesser person.
All right.
Handiti?
Yes.
And you also find good if you step out.
Yes.
Handiti?
Yes.
If you step out confidently, people embrace you very fast.
Oh yeah, very fast.
Vanongoti
Yeah.
you become vanotokutora votokuisa chi pedyo.
Yes.
But vakakuona kunge iwe wacho you are not confident vanotanga kutozotanga kuzwa but problem chi.
Yes.
You become a
Stigma,
topic of you become futi a topic of discussion.
Okay.
And zvavanenge vataura kufuti unozosvinza.
Unozosvinza.
So you just need to be confident. Be confident, not necessarily nevanhu, but be
Okay.
confident in the Lord.
Okay.
Be confident in who you are kuna Mwari and who God says you are.
Yes.
And also try and be around people that have been through that experience.
Okay.
Whilst you might have friends that are still married,
Yes.
bias, vane bias.
Okay.
And vane bias because the life that they know
Ah.
is the life in marriage.
All right.
Havazive life outside
Okay,
the marriage.
yes.
So support yavo sometimes
Yes.
it falters because havana experience what you are going through.
All right.
So you
all
need
right.
to find vamwe vanhu that have gone through that experience or some people that have suffered some kind of loss.
Yes.
And then try and resonate with those people and be encouraged
I
by
see.
those people.
Yes,
So that
yes.
when you go into the greater community, you now have confidence.
Okay, at least you have like a support base or, yeah. Yes.
My niece introduced me to a verse that is now my most favorite verse in the Bible.
Is it so?
Yes.
I want to hear this.
It
one.
is Luke chapter 1, verse 45.
Okay, yes.
And it says, "Blessed is she who believed,
Yeah?
for there shall be a fulfillment of the things that were promised here by the Lord."
Wow.
So
yes.
if we continue to believe, if we just believe,
Yes.
kuti Mwari vakati, "You never leave or forsake me." If we
Yes.
just believe that, we are fine.
Yeah? Wow.
If we believe what God said He'll provide our
Yes,
daily bread,
yes.
you'll be fine.
Amen.
You'll be okay.
You'll be okay.
Saka,
is
just believe
faithful.
that there will be a fulfillment of all those promises that God has made for us.
Yes, yes.
And I believed that
Yes.
He has plans for me. I have excelled in my career. Pastor knows kufar.
Yeah,
I've
yes.
excelled. Those were the things that I was wishing for.
Okay.
But Mary made it possible.
Oh, amen.
Even the study, Mary made
Yes.
it possible.
Amen.
Vana, they turned out okay. Mary
Yes.
made it possible.
Yes.
So if we believe, Mary
Yes.
promised this,
Yes.
and Mary cannot falter on his word.
Yes.
That is the anchoring thing.
Yes.
From beginning to end, whatever
Yes.
you're going through, just say, Mary promised that He will never leave or forsake me. Even ndikapinda nemvura yakaita sei, He'll be there.
Yes.
Even ndikapinda moto, He'll be there with
You'll
me.
be there for me.
So if we believe that,
Yes.
then we're okay.
Yes.
My situations present themselves.
Oh, yeah?
Because remember, when we pray,
Yes.
whatever we wish for, whatever we utter, the devil is listening.
He's listening
and
as
he'll
well.
say, okay, mind akushowa.
All right.
And he'll present some curveball.
Yeah.
But even as you go through those curveballs, Pastor, I went
Yes.
through times where I didn't know kuti mari yevana yeschool fees ichaita sei isingakwani.
Yes.
But yakangokwana vakatoenda kuchikoro vakapedza.
Amen.
And
Amen.
but as you go through that,
Yes.
kungobvunza kuti nai Mwari.
Yes.
I came from the Methodist Church.
Yes.
And kune rumwe rwataimba kumethodist church rune stanza inotaura kuti kana washaya nzvimbo
Yes.
zvimwe une basa kana washaya pekunamatira ingosumudza mwoyo wako kuna Mwari vanokunzwa.
Yes.
So even you will grow weary because
Yes.
it's challenging,
Yes.
it's overwhelming.
Uh-huh.
But even as you don't have strength to pray
Yes.
or strength to go up to ingosumudza mwoyo kuti Mwari help me.
Amen.
Munamato iwoyo wakatokura kupfuura we5 hours. Ngoti Mwari ndapererwa
Yes,
ndibatsirei.
just like
And
Peter
God, yeah,
raised
and
his hand
God
and
will
said, Lord, help me.
Lord,
he was
help me.
sinking.
Eh.
He was drowning in the yes. Thank you so much.
So, yeah,
Dr.
so
Upton, how I wish we could have just continued with this conversation because I was going to ask you another question, but I will not. You will not answer that now. That I mean, you look, I mean, young and so on. Is it by design that you have decided not to remarry and so on?
Oh.
Yes, maybe if you can just in 10 seconds respond to that, and then we need to close.
I would love to get married again.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Candidate.
Okay, okay. Candidate.
Like I said, it's a topic for another day.
Okay.
It's a topic for another
All right.
day.
Anyways, thank you so much for your words
Yeah.
on that one.
Good, yes.
Dear viewers, dear friends, we just want to thank you for staying with us on the program, The Journey of Life. And today we have been talking about the experience of divorce. We are so grateful to you, Miss Muchanyuka, okay, nekutenda kuuya kuchirongwa and sharing with us your experience, your thoughts, your insights. We have learned so much from your experience, and I believe so many other people are appreciative. Please write to us your questions, your comments, your insights. Do you have an experience that you also wish to share? Please let us know so that you can also come on the show and we enrich each other through the experiences we have gone through. And so, last but not least, I'm going to ask my dear sister that please may you pray for us. There are people who are going through situations. Maybe some are contemplating and some just think that their world has come to an end. So there are all those kind of situations. May you please pray for us.
Okay, let us pray. Mwari muri kumusoro kudenga toda kutenda Jehovah nenguva yatava nayo yatanga tiri kugoverana ma experiences andakaita as I went through a divorce. Mwari shoko renyu rinotaura kuti imi divorce hamuifariri. Naizvozvo Jehovah tinongokumbira kuti mweya wenyu mutsvene ngauye uburukire not only muchechi yedu asi munyika yose Mwari kuti divorce isave chinhu chinojairika baba. Nekuti it is very damaging and it is very painful. Naizvozvo Mwari, there are many that are within our church that are facing my challenges in their marriage baba. Tinongokumbira kuti muvape mukana kuti vataurirane vayananisane zvisazosvika padivorce Mwari. Protect the children that are in these marriages, Lord. Vana varambe vachiona a good example of a marriage. vasazokura Jehovha vaine skewed ideas about what marriage is. Vaona kurarama kwatinoita isusu sevabereki vavo. Mwari munotichengeta panguva dzose, kunyange panguva dzatinokukanganwai kuti muripo, imi munenge mungoripo, munofamba nesu, munotichengeta, munotisimudzira. Ruoko rwenyu ngarudzikire Baba, rubate each and every person that is faced neissue yedivorce at the moment. Muvapewo runyararo, muvapewo kunzwisisa, muvapewo kutiwira nekutarisa kwamuri imimi, nekuti ndimi mukwanisi wezvinhu zvose zveupenyu hwedu. Tiinemi Jehovha takakwana nezvinhu zvese. Chivai nesu, musimudzire mapurogiramu ari kuitwa nechechi Baba, apararire nenyika yose. Ava anobatsira Jehovha, vanhu vari kusangana nemasituations akawanda eupenyu. Hataimboziva kuti COVID-19 ichatipa mukana iwoyo kuti shoko renyu riparidzwe maparidzirwo ari kuitwa Baba. Kuti vanhu vasangane nematopics avari kusangana nawo panguva ino Baba, anovabatsira mukati mekufamba rwendo rwemakristu Jehovha. Simudzirai chechi yeSeventh-day Adventist Church. Muite kuti maresources ave aripo Jehovha, ekuti maprograms akadai aramba achienderera mberi. Tinokutendai Jehovha nerudo rwenyu nenyasha dzenyu. Tanamba tachipota nezita raJesu nogara nekusingazoperi. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. My name is Watson Mbiriri, and I'm your host on the show. May God bless you. Until next time.
Lord, I know you care. Lord, I know you care. Lord, I know you care for me. Lord, I know you care. Oh, I believe. Lord, I know you care. Lord, I know you care. Lord, I know you care for me. Lord, I know you care. Oh, I believe.
I was searching for a true friend. This friend with love around. Yeah. I keep searching the scriptures till I find the right one. His name is Jehovah Jireh. Lord, I know you care for me, Lord. I know you care. When my heart is sick and sad, Lord, I know you care for me. I believe, I believe. I know you care. Oh, I believe. Some people, what they don't know, this friend with love around, yeah. They keep searching the scriptures till they find the right one. His name